Hello, Internet. My name is Aqua, and welcome to the RWBY Volume 5, Chapter 7. We're halfway through now.
Oh.
Review, discussion. That one.
Yeah.
With Rebkos.
Oh.
Over there.
Here.
Over there. I'm not gonna edit that. I was thinking I was gonna have you move around my webcam. That's too much work. I'm not gonna do that to future me.
I don't know.
One time I'll make it easy on future me.
I hear future me is kind of a jackass. So
no, future me is great. Past me is a douche. That's how I roll. But anyway,
see,
Ruby,
future
right?
you is going to call you a douchebag, so you should screw over future you as a preemptive strike.
I think that's just circular forever.
It's like that movie Looper or whatever. It was terrible. Anyway, so how about that RWBY show?
RWBY, yes, RWBY, an episode happened. We're halfway through. This episode exists. I don't have many opinions on it. Remco seems to have a lot of opinions on it.
I have some highly negative opinions. I hate to say it, but I feel this was a genuinely bad episode.
I mean, that can happen. I mean, can you think of any other genuinely bad episodes that you would consider?
It's hard to parse them out from one or two, just because I've only ever watched those in movie format. But there's been ones that have just been slow, but this one just is kind of genuinely bad. There's so many, and there's multiple points that I can kind of point to and go, you know what? If you'd done it this way, it would have been a better episode. And they're not profound changes, which almost makes me wonder if this was almost like a second unit episode, which I don't know if you know what that term means.
No.
So when you have major TV show productions, Stargate is a good example of this, where there's the four main characters, and so usually every scene has the four main characters, but sometimes there's the little one-off scene that maybe only has one of the main characters. And so they usually don't get the full production crew and everyone all together when they're just doing the little one-off scene. And so they'll have the second unit team, which is not the director, it's the assistant director, or not the main lighting guy, it's the assistant lighting guy. And they'll go and deal with that scene while everyone else works on the real stuff.
I just want to say real quick, I would not want to be the assistant lighting guy. That sounds like a horrible job. Didn't you?
Fair enough. But yeah, this just kind of felt like the second unit was working on this one, because it was it's a filler episode and it's not that great, and it's just kind of here, and it's what? It
is a fillery kind of episode, and that's weird for this show, because that's generally not a thing that they do.
And some of it's probably because they haven't been doing World of Remnants, but this is them compensating for that, and it's not landing well. It's really falling flat.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and jump into it then, since we're already talking about it.
That's fair.
So like I said, I don't really have a lot of opinions on this. I am completely exhausted, by the way, so if I seem kind of out of it, it's because I'm 49% asleep.
Yes.
Wait, that's not how percentage works. I'm 70% asleep. 100% asleep would be asleep, not 50. That's where I am right now. Anyway, What do you think of this scene?
It's cute to start with, but it has problems. I thought them laughing about the map was adorable. I thought them laughing at Ren being out of control and him not understanding the out of control joke was adorable. And then things quickly fall apart. I feel the Weiss bit didn't make any sense. This is
talking about the Barber-Tusk stuff.
Yeah, Weiss was effectively held prisoner by her father, genuinely locked in the tower, kind of Tower of London style, disposing of unwanted royal family members. And no one cares. We're all focused on the fact that she sicked a summon on the bitchy drunk lady at the party, and we're not even really that impressed with the summons. We're mostly just kind of focused on that and giggling about it. And I mean, almost if anything, everyone should be reacting in moderate horror as Weiss explains what her father did and why. And then when she actually proves that she can do the summoning, this should be moderately awe-inspiring. And everyone's just treating it as a joke. We're so happy we're eating ramen, and ramen is kind of serving as our first like formal timeline.
So the summoning was actually something that bothered me a little bit, because we go from like at the end of volume 4 when she first summons the knight to like break out and such. And now she can just do it at will anytime, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Super easy.
It's completely overpowered.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, and like the Borbatas didn't like attack Nora, it just showed up as her summoned pet. It's like she has complete control over something that she gained the ability of by losing control in a progressively more traumatic situation, which in theory she's now explaining to everyone and we're laughing at.
So do you think that they should have focused on a different part of that storyline rather than like that little bit as like a joke?
Yeah, like they tried to make everything stay very light throughout this bit, and if the group is genuinely sitting around and catching each other up, Weiss has not had a good time. Weiss has actually had a really bad time, which the best part of it was getting kidnapped by Yang's mom because she came across Yang. Like... And instead we're like, ha ha ha, there was this totally bitchy drunk lady at the party, and I suddenly gained a new super OP power, and ha ha ha. What?
It could be a thing of like they just like they're not wanting to bring down the movie because none of them have really had a good time necessarily. So they're like trying to make the best of it, because I mean they've all literally been through war already.
Yeah, but I mean, is the ramen spiked? Like there's a difference between not trying to bring the room down and everyone being a little out of their mind.
I mean, they're still like 16 and 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to necessarily just, like, you know, be super grimdark or anything. And, I mean, a lot of them have already dealt with, like, not necessarily tragedy. I guess kind of tragedy, but, like, dramatic events in their lives. Because, like, Ruby lost her mom. Yang's mom left her.
But this is kind of Weiss's more...
I mean, Weiss just went back to, like, what her living situation was before she left.
She did, but she didn't appreciate how bad that living situation was. Like, she comes into volume 1, you know, being the racist bitch about the Faunus and, like, seemingly being on board with what her father's on board with, which then quickly falls away, and then we kind of go into volume 2, and she talks about, like, not wanting to follow in her father's footsteps and wanting to be a huntress and wanting to kind of break away. But even then, she's not really condemning her father. And then she goes back into that situation, and suddenly she's realizing that this is all really bad.
Yeah.
And then he pretty much tries to lock her away, strips her of her airship, like her little brother's been plotting it against her. Like she's just had this kind of whole Shakespearean tear down occur.
Yeah, there was like her previous living situation plus more going on in that. But like, I don't know, like I'm sure she's talked to them a lot about, or not a lot necessarily, but like at least a bit about like how, you know, just how her living situation was before.
Yeah.
So they probably already have like a kind of inkling of like how that was. So she didn't want to focus on that kind of thing. It is weird that that's like the one thing that they would focus on, because I thought it would be just the summoning. It's like, hey, by the way, I can fucking summon out, and everyone's like, what? Like you were saying, like that's a huge thing. Like you can just do this now.
Yeah, like instead we made it a Nora joke.
Flips on the table or something.
Yeah, like it was this throwaway Nora joke instead of like, this is impressive. This is potentially something that maybe if she has confided in the team previously, that this is something she feels she should be able to do and hasn't been able to. So if anything, like that should be the highlight. And instead we're just making it a big joke. And it's like, but there was potentially something very interesting, if a little, you know, not funny here. And instead we just threw away the opportunity. So that to me was very frustrating.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird to me how it was just like purely just like jokes and like laughter and all this stuff throughout the entire time, because it's like that's not really like I understand like they want to do that and they want to just be kids, but like they've been through some shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't find anything wrong with the fact that like that was a thing that happened, but I would agree that showing the summoning or something like that would be much cooler.
Yeah.
So
again, it's just like there's clearly a missed opportunity here, and I don't know where it went.
Mm-hmm. So then we have
Yang's arm
wrestle match, and yeah, that's
no, even before that, we have Ruby geek out over the arm. We are all the way through the bowl of ramen. Ruby has seen this arm for hours. How is she just now reacting to it this way? If anything, this should have been scene 1.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was kind of thinking too when I was like thinking about possibilities of what's going to happen when they meet up and stuff. I thought my immediate thing was like, after Ruby's reaction thing, then my immediate thing was like, oh, she's going to react to the arm.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about that fact that like that was later and it was, exactly what you just said. That's really interesting, actually, because I would expect her to just like immediately like zip to that thing and just be like,
yeah,
oh.
Like probably the previous episode should have ended with like in the
Ruby
gap,
accidentally pulling her arm off.
Well, like in the gap between this episode and the previous one should have been like Ruby, Yang, and maybe even Weiss crying it out a bit, having a moment, and then Ruby like seeing the arm and like kind of getting excited, but knowing she shouldn't be, and like asking Yang if she can touch it, and then Yang being like, yes, here's the arm, go play with it. Like, and instead here we have hours later, Ruby has just now noticed the arm. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, that's odd. I got nothing to say about that except that's odd.
Yeah, it's like, it's cute, but this is a problem. This shouldn't be here.
It's too long. Well, let's just pretend those scenes are switched, and then we can move on.
There we go.
And then it's the arm wrestling.
Then the arm wrestling, and this was kind of cute. Like, I love the Weiss Ruby exchange of like, Ruby, you wear a skirt. You're not cheering loud enough. Sad.
So like, they went like, Nora was like this huge like epic thing, like, let's do this, and then it was just like it cut to them at like, it wasn't still frame, but it was like barely panning a little bit, and just them just like not moving. I'm just like, that was anticlimactic a little bit.
And again, we seem to have another wasted opportunity here, because apparently Yang's arm comes with this super punch ejection mode, and
rocket arm. What?
And we've revealed it here. Like, why was this not revealed in a big fight or something? And instead, we're using it as a joke. And are we ever going to see it again? Maybe.
See, okay, I would be very upset if they showed it now and then didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But them showing now, I think is really cool, because it's just like, oh, by the way, it can do this, and like, it's fine. Like,
I mean, it's kind of like an automatic.
It has to be revealed in a huge thing.
I know, like, but it's kind of like an automatic Chekhov's gun now of like, okay, when is this going to come in the middle of a fight scene? Is Yang going to be struggling with someone like Adam? And it's like, she's going to eject the arm. She's going to eject the arm.
She's going to go do the same kind of punch, except like 20 feet further away. And just
So, no. and again, it's just it was fun to see it now, but we've now ruined the potential of like a potentially really cool reveal later for the purpose of this.
She could have used it in the bandit fight instead of propelling her full self toward the dude. He could just like shot the arm or something. Maybe it's not that powerful or whatever, but like that would have been a cool reveal. And then using the joke would make sense. And now, like you said, it's like, it is just gonna be like, when is it gonna pop up? Is it ever again? And if it doesn't, gonna have a fucking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where he just kind of forgets about. So if you don't know, the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure just kind of forgets about stuff of his characters, like their abilities and like story plot points and like people.
Oops.
Just completely forgets them. Like there was literally an entire like one of the like main like to-be villains possibly appears in the beginning of one of the parts and just never shows up again.
Just writing the entire thing while drunk.
Pretty much.
Characters that have been killed off, like, show back up.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened somewhere there, but but I think it's cool to see it at the very least. I definitely can see where you're coming from with that, though.
Let's see what else we got. I did like the nickname throwback. That was again cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ren's monologue kind of sucked.
Ren, so that's one of my other, like, 3 notes from this section. That's how much I was just like, nothing really is going on at the moment. I don't know. I have a weird thing with the show where it's like there's other shows that like I'm really invested in the characters and everything, but in this, like, I'm finding out I don't care a whole lot about the characters other than their struggles. I just care about like the larger picture stuff of like, what is this group doing? What is this group doing? Rather than like, what is this person doing? What are you doing?
And I mean, frankly, scenes like this kind of...
That was deodorant. Don't worry about it.
What are you doing?
It's fine. Just continue.
Like the giving Ren a monologue like this makes him a weird 2D exposition character, and that then makes it harder to care about him. Like, that's all he's been used for lately too. Yeah. It's like the last few times he's spoken was just for this, and this one felt really overbearing. Wow, overbearing to me. The other ones are just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like something right to say. And it's like, okay, now you're just like explaining literally every single plot point ever for some reason. It's not necessary. Like, and I mean, even if they wanted to do this, maybe they could do like volumes, and now it is flashbacks or something. Like you could see, I don't know, if Ren decided he was leading a meditation session and they were all supposed to start reflecting back on whatever, and it would be cool if they like redid scenes from Volume 1, but in Maya with the new character rigs and that sort of thing, and like they did kind of like a cool little flashback thing. Like, that could have been fun, and instead we got this weird monologue, and then Ruby even making a comment about 1v1 and Nevermore, and it was like, sweetheart, you didn't. It was a Deathstalker. No, it wasn't Nevermore. Not the 1v1. Oh, that's right. You know, she was charging the Deathstalker and the Nevermore. Yep, the Nevermore was a team effort. Ruby's got a bad memory. So do the writers, apparently. Yeah, that's funny. Because I was thinking, like, because the Nevermore is the one that stops her at first when she's charging in, because it, like, catches her cape. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. And I was like, wait a minute. Nope. She went charging after the Deathstalker, and then got in trouble, and then Weiss had to save her, and that was kind of like one of these pinnacle moments of, like, you done fucked up, girl. And then they actually work as a team. In the next part. Yep, you're totally right. That's really funny, actually. And so it's like when that line came up and it was like, no, you didn't. You didn't at all. So they're literally just pulling what I just talked about with the JoJo's Story, which I can't remember his fucking name. I'm sorry. All I can remember is Miyazaki, and that's not it. No. So, yes. Then move on to the next thing, which is Osmond talking to Weiss and Yang, or talked to, I guess, which is great. They did it off camera. They did, but this scene is still awful. Like, it's fine. No. There were so many potential ways they could have done this better. Like, it was good that they did the rehashing off screen and we just did the quick Maidens, the magic, it's all real, right? Like that. Which is what we've asked for. Yes, like that's what we wanted. Other stuff. But we still literally have everyone sitting around in exactly the correct number of chairs talking. And not even really reacting in any interesting way. We just have Osmond kind of narrating what's going on and going like, Michelle Long, is this what your mother told you? And then Weiss is like, yeah, more or less. And it's like 90% no, it isn't, Weiss. Like, you were there. John reacted to a thing once. He did, but we all got like super focused on Crow and Raven being able to turn into birds. And like, why do we care so much about that? I was kind of curious about that as well. Also, like, as soon as they revealed that this was by choice. Yeah. Then like everything Raven just did in the previous thing just got canceled out. I'm just like, okay, well then Ozpin's fine again. Yeah, it's like who's lying? I get, yeah. Have any of us brought up the fact that apparently Crow and Raven went to school to learn how to be murderers? Like, there's so many other plot points that we could be focused on, and instead we hyper-focused on the bird thing. Ozpin casually throws out, by the way, I'm the wizard in the fairy tale. No one even blinks, and then we're like, but the birds. Can we talk about the birds?
Yeah, that is a weird thing that keeps kind of recurring with the show where when it first happened with Pyrrha, like Pyrrha's whole storyline is fucking incredible. Like she, it's like, what if I told you these fairy tales are true? And she's just like, what?
Yeah.
But now everyone's finding out all this shit all the time, and everyone's just kind of like staring blankly, like, go on, yeah, sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that might just be a thing of like, okay, like all of this stuff has been proven so far of like all this crazy magic bullshit.
Sorta? Like none of them have a reason to believe the maiden thing, and probably every time the maidens come up, Jean should be losing his shit. And he's just Yep.
Yeah. I think he just, I don't know, maybe he just has a confidence issue. He's not confident enough to stab Oscar in the chest.
But we have seen him snarl at people. Like we even saw a little bit of this in Volume 4 when Crow's explaining everything and he's like, so you use Pyrrha. Like he's upset. And he should be. And we're never getting to see it.
Yeah, it's just so weird now that every time somebody finds out something, like Weiss had the great, like, what? Like, that was really good.
And again, Weiss gets like physically uncomfortable, like, but then we never address any of this. Like Ozpin gives his stupid little spiel, reveals major things like he's the wizard, and then he acts like everyone has a choice. And then when no one immediately speaks up, he thinks the deal is done. And then Yang stands up and gives kind of a crappy speech about, well, I trust Ruby. And it's like, Ruby hasn't said shit. Like,
but she's like going along with all of this stuff.
She has, but again, this is one of those scenes where it's like,
set off camera.
Yeah, and it's like we could have tweaked this scene just a little and done some of that kind of off-camera discussion. Like, frankly, when Ozpin had been like, "Oh, you all have a choice," if Yang had stood up and been like, "Yeah, and we need to talk, and you need to leave," and then if she had like kicked Ozpin and Crow out of the room. And then all of them had kind of an internal discussion, probably with Yang being pissed, probably with her bringing up the fact that Crow has been lying to them. Jean probably volunteering that he doesn't trust Ozpin. Weiss being really uncomfortable with all of this. And then maybe Ruby could finally speak up and then give a better motivational speech than she gave in the previous episode that would actually like bring everyone around. And instead, we all perfectly sit still in our chairs and agree that, yes, we're all on board because reasons.
Maybe that's one of Ozpin's abilities. Is he just like
being a manipulative jackass?
Yes. Hey, guess what? He's magical. He can just cast a spell on somebody. Hey, you believe me? You're going along with me now.
See, that's gonna do that. There we go. That's Oscar's semblance, convincing people to do terrible ideas, and that's how like the shipping is going to happen. It'll just be like, no.
So I agree with everything of what you said for like people's reactions, but I think that should have happened during the actual conversation because the fact that my hair, I just need to get. I'm just gonna shave my fucking head. So
okay,
if there was more back and forth between Ozpin and the rest of the group, that would have been amazing to see because
they should be reeling, like, and instead they're just accepting everything.
Well, there's different things that
except
it's like,
the birds. We can't handle the birds.
Yeah, but even with that, it's like, they find out like this is a thing, and we see like some like reaction face kind of things going on, but nobody says anything really. Like as far as like Ruby and Yang who have grown up with Crow this entire time, and it's like, oh, you can turn to a bird. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, what?
And you were training to murder everyone. Like,
let's just not focus on that, maybe. He's a good guy now, probably.
Probably. But you know what? That's kind of a discussion point. And again, like, Yang already has, like, issues trusting adults. Weiss probably does, too. Ruby is just here for the heroics, but all of them should at this point.
Happy to be here. It's like, oh boy,
Ruby is on a quest.
Adventure.
Yeah, and it's just like, guys, this is like, there's only so long you're allowed to be shell shocked before you've fallen asleep. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, my main thing with that was like, the only thing that really bothered me about that entire scene was the fact that it was just Ozpin talking the entire time, basically. And then like Crow as well, and there was almost no interjections at any point. And if they were, they're like very small and quiet or subtle or whatever. So
or so momentary of Yang being annoyed, and then but I trust Ruby, and it's like, what are we doing?
big old group of people, like, there's gonna be people talking. That's just what happens. Like if you put it, especially with people like Nora, like you'd think she'd just be going crazy.
Like, and we should have seen this as a danger at the beginning of the volume when she kept hanging a lantern on things. Did we really need her to call out the bird thing?
No, we
didn't. Like that, it's like, come on.
That was a little much for me too. Yeah.
We're all hyper focused on the birds.
Yeah, that was a little weird. It was like a bird episode. I don't know.
What was the episode
I couldn't really
called?
figure out why they were so obsessed with that.
Yeah, Rest and Resolution and Ravens. Well. God.
There's so much stuff. Like, there's so many things going on in the world, and like you said, they're just talking about like these like smaller sub things, which it's fine because it's like, yes, that's something you should freak out about, but you should freak out way more about all this other shit that you just kind of glossed over.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm the wizard from the fairy tale kind of thing. Like, of course, he didn't say it that way, and maybe they don't like know the fairy tale or whatever.
I mean, we just explained the whole maidens thing, so in theory, yes. I mean,
I guess. Well, I mean, you wouldn't explain it as a fairy tale, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, that's how we keep introducing it of what's your favorite fairy tale.
It's true. Yeah.
Like they're.
I'll find out.
Yeah, this episode frustrated me because again, it's like you can see what they were trying to get to, and instead of taking a more interesting path, they took the allow me to monologue at you, and now you understand why you're joining me. Yes, on to adventure. And it's like, what are you doing? No one trusts you now.
I really do feel like they should have, like, because I don't know the reason for them extending it to 14 episodes, but personally, I would much rather have 12 episodes that, like, even if the volume started later, like 2 weeks later, or whatever, for more production or whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not really, there's more episodes, but there's nothing happening. There's no information in there. Like, we've gotten the same information like 3 episodes in a row now.
Yeah, and my question, like...
And there's so much going on in the world. There's so many things that could be being focused on. And then we get an episode like this, which is like almost filler. Like, people are being filled in and things are like progressing still, but it's just like... One episode,
and this was like a what?
1 day
12-minute episode. We have something like 40 minutes of exposition at this point. Like, I know, like when we had the exposition episode 2 ago, and we were rehashing what was in the Blake short with Ilya, like that one you could excuse because we were putting into the main canon what had happened in the short, and it was like, okay, with this one we can let go. The next episode, you could kind of excuse it because we don't know how Raven would act, and it's like, okay, maybe like this is a lot of exposition, but maybe it will play well together. And then we get another 12 minutes of exposition, it's just the same thing, and it's not. It's like, guys, this is 40 minutes of talking about the same 3 bullet points badly.
Something that I always loved about the writing of the show was like how tight it was. Because like every second of every episode was really, really meaningful.
Yeah.
Especially in volume 1, like all those like early character interactions and like all the little tidbits of information that live along the way. And now it feels like they've just kind of like, they're just trying to fill time almost. Yeah, which again, it has this weird second unit feeling of there's something very critical happening in the next 7 episodes, and we needed to focus all our energy there, and we couldn't possibly work on a World of Remnants, so we're just going to make these 3 episodes. And it's like... Yeah, I'm curious as to why they aren't doing World of Remnants anymore either, because my guess is like that could have helped a lot of this. Yeah, probably. It always sucks, you know, like it was like, oh, it was a week off as a World of Remnants or whatever. There was always good information in them. Yeah. And you knew to predict them. It was like you got 4 episodes in a World of Remnant, and it was like, okay. Yeah. Whatever. And that's totally fine. But yeah, it just kind of feels like they're trying to fill time now, and there's just like not the things that are showing those last few episodes don't feel like the most important bits of what's going on in the world at the moment. Yeah. Necessarily. And like instead of like individual conversations, it's like, okay, it's fun if you show the entire conversation like the Raven thing, even if Raven like is the worst negotiator in the world. Yeah. But when you have something like this where they're coming in, it's like off-screen conversations are happening, and you want to like pick out the few best bits, which is pretty much what we've been saying this entire time, is like just focus on a little bit different things that have more meaning to it, rather than just trying to make a joke or just like
The previous scene could have been a lot more meaningful, and this one could have been a lot more dramatic if, anyone other than Osmond had spoken.
This entire episode, there's a lot of chance for character development, and nothing happens really.
That. Oh yeah.
Because these are characters that have been away from like possibly up to half a year or more, and they've all changed a lot. So and
instead we get a weird Ren monologue.
We get a little bit of it because like they do mention Weiss is like nicer and stuff. Well, Ren mentions how everybody has changed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ren. Needed that.
Thanks.
And but if there was like more of that, like showing more examples of that going on, and sharing the plot points where it's like people reacting to like different things that happen. It's like, oh, they say a couple words so what they're talking about, like, oh, like I'm able to summon now. I was like, this is how it happened and stuff. And I think that's where that story started. It was like, oh yeah, I was just able to summon after this thing, and then the story devolved into something else entirely instead of focusing on the summoning.
Yeah.
So it's just like pretty much as you said, a lot of missed opportunities and stuff. But
yeah,
I didn't think anything was necessarily super out of place, at least at first. After you pointed some stuff out, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's whoops, that's super a mistake.
Yeah,
like mostly the Nevermore thing. I can't believe I didn't catch that.
It's like you didn't. No. There's no.
It felt like a filler episode. That's pretty much all I can say about it, and that's why I just don't really have any opinions about it.
I mean, the last 30 seconds were the best part of it.
One last scene, which it's like, hey, by the way, plot is going to move forward now. I'm like, oh!
And Katie Newell's still doing the voice of Emerald, which was really, I was excited.
I just noticed everyone's the same voice, but it's good to see that group back. It's been a while.
Oh yeah.
And holy shit, that's such a good villain group. The entire villain group is fucking great, but like those three in particular have such a great dynamic because like we've spent time with them, so we know it's like, hey, Emerald, this is the way Cinder is controlling them. It's like she's trying to like build up Mercury as much as possible and trying to tear down Emerald as much as possible.
Oh yeah.
And that's cool stuff. And
now we got Dr. Evil along for the ride.
Yeah, Watts just kind of showed up for some reason. Hi. That's cool.
I mean, we may even see Tyrion.
Oh, God, with his tail, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was episode, 1, 2? Bringing Tyrion.
Yeah.
You need a tail.
I think 2. Yeah. But so, I mean, like, this little 30-second tidbit gives us, like, infinite speculation points. Like, are these guys going to go in and be like leveling Raven's camp? Is Raven going to open a portal and try to get help? Is she trying to gonna have like Vernal escape? Like, inevitably a portal is going to be opened to our friends and they're probably sitting around talking again, and just this portal will open and someone's going to come through and it's going to be a problem, whether it's Vernal stumbling through or Raven coming in half dying. Like, there's like a lot of cool potential here.
Yeah, there is. I'm really hoping like this is, I feel like this is kind of the thing where there's this area between the major plot points that have been plotted out, like however many years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And so they're just trying to like fill in that space. And we can definitely see what they're going for.
But they're just missing the mark at times.
Appreciate just a little bit. Just a little bit. You're not far off, guys. You're still... I mean, I was like neutral in this episode, but it's still a fucking great volume so far.
It is. But
like
this one hurt. Like this
one was a little,
This is one of these ones where I want to like grab everyone and shove them into like a theatrical directing class and be like, okay, you see how everyone's sitting and not moving? This is called boring. Have someone stand up and pace. Do something.
RWBY does action well, not so much others. Well, I mean, they've done the other good stuff in the past, but that's like...
They absolutely have. Again. But yeah, and it's like, what is this filler episode and why are we just sitting?
Yeah, I just think that if there was like... I would prefer to have less episodes if there was like more contained content for like stuff moving forward and more information and everything. But yeah, I'm really excited for next episode because this is something I've been waiting for a while. Didn't know when they would get around to it. Didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Did it happen right now? But I'm just like, okay, yeah.
Let's Team Evil on the move.
Let's get some murder happening. People gonna die.
People gonna die.
People are gonna die.
Possibly.
And that's what this show does is at its best when people die.
Possibly Shady Man. Did you see that in the credits?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, really?
So let's go ahead and move on to predictions and theories. I have no theories, but I do have a prediction. Raven gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
Maiden fight. God, I hope there's a maiden fight. And if not now, at least before the end of the volume. And I think we're going to see more of the White Fang stuff storyline, and maybe that'll be interesting now because
hopefully
it got interesting.
It did, and then we cut away.
And then we cut away from it, just like
it's like, God damn it!
And RWBY, not only do you get cliffhangers that don't get resolved until the episode after the next one.
Yeah,
that's called splitting your storyline too many ways.
So
although it has made sense so far because you don't want 2 hug scenes back to back, but yeah, whatever.
Nah. I could have done without the group hug. Like, it was cute, but I would have been fine if Weiss had just kind of stood there awkwardly for a bit. Like, that would have been fine. Anyway.
It would have been funnier if Weiss just, like, saw them hugging and just, like...
she, just, like awkwardly comes over and, like, joins.
No, she just, like, looks around and just, like, fucking just jump tackles the entire...
There we go.
She's the complete opposite of what she used to be.
Perfect.
So, yeah, and... I don't know what's going to happen to the White Fang storyline. I'm really interested in seeing what's going to go forward with that now, and hopefully it won't disappoint.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that, really. Because I got fucking nothing. It could go so many ways.
I don't have any, like, good predictions, but I have something kind of dumb that I kind of want to see happen.
Okay.
So Team Evil is here to fuck up Raven's camp. I think it would be really cool if Raven opens a portal, maybe shoves Vernal through to get rid of her. Vernal, like, explains in, like, 3 words what's happening before the portal closes, and Yang jumps back through. Die. Like, I could see Yang jumping back into the portal, and then maybe even RWBY following her, and now we have RWBY and Cinder in the same location.
Yeah, the moment that happens, I don't know, man.
It would make me happy because it was like, oh, this is just gonna cause all sorts of shit.
Talk to RWBY about goddamn Silver Eyes and be like, here's how you use
I'm sure he's just going to rehash the maidens again, and then freaking Oscar's gonna flirt with her badly, and we're all just gonna sit here and go.
I just want Silver Eyes. All I want from the show right now is Silver Eyes. Like, literally, like, there was a power that's introduced. We don't get to see any of it. We got. And then nothing else.
Yeah.
That sound hurt.
Don't do that.
Don't make that sound at home, people.
I don't really even know what you did. Good.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's all I got. Because it's like, all right. We didn't really get anything out of this beyond Bandit Camp's about to get fucked up.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, this episode was, The next episode's going to be,
I hope so. We're finally going to get a World of Remnant. That's what's going to happen. And it'll be like, motherfucker!
Halfway through, get the World of Remnant at the hugest cliffhanger of the season. Be beautiful.
We'll find out.
You're out there. Fuck you in advance. And that'll be it for this episode. So thank you so much, Rebkos, for joining me.
Absolutely.
I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, leave your comments down below. And we'll be in there talking and stuff. So you can talk about the nothing that happened too. But until next time, I'll see you later. I can't outros. Bye.
Bye.